Do y'all see it? The US Debt Clock just updated its app, and on it, you can see that the current US national debt in 2030 is down from the $40 trillion that it is right now to under $30 trillion. And it's X'd out. And you notice that it is actually going backwards. Even the debt to ratio, the debt to GDP ratio is down. Then on 2034, it actually goes down much more. It goes down to $13 trillion because we're moving away from the Federal Reserve banking system and we're going into a new treasury dollar. That is the only way that it is possible because $40 trillion is completely unsustainable considering the fact that our interest alone right here is over $1 trillion alone on the debt. Here is the solution right here.
Just this week, we got an incredible announcement that I think a lot of folks did not fully grasp, but I was talking to someone who just left the Treasury Department, and he confirmed it, which is that Treasury put out Genius Act regulations on the recognition of non-U.S. issued stablecoins. What does that mean? It means the Treasury Department is taking charge of what is allowed to be a so-called euro dollar, euro yen, euro yuan, right? And for those of us who are financial markets people, we know that the term euro does not mean European. It means a dollar issued offshore outside of the United States is called a euro dollar. A euro is a euro issued outside of the Eurozone, right? So basically these are tokenized fiat currencies issued outside of their home country. And the US Treasury is taking charge of the recognition of the validity of these. That is massive. If you're a student of the financial markets, you know that the Eurodollar market is as large as the domestic financial market. That's the offshore dollar market. So when the US Treasury is taking control of what is recognized as valid, that is taken from the Fed. So what's really going on here is with the tokenization movement, the Treasury is taking power back over the US dollar, over the Eurodollar markets, and frankly, over the US role in the financial system globally from the Fed. And to put that into context, when we were talking earlier about how antiquated the traditional system is, and that the Fed systems are themselves behind. And part of the challenge with the Genius Act, if you've been watching, all of the other agencies have issued rules. One glaring exception, the Fed has not issued its rules yet. And according to the Genius Act, all of the agencies' rules were supposed to be final a couple of weeks ago. The Fed hasn't even issued theirs yet. So there's this dynamic going on between the Treasury Department and the Fed, and that is really important because Scott Bessent is a big believer in tokenization, and he is pushing, with the Trump administration, the system towards tokenization. That is massive. That is not going to be reversible even if the Republicans lose the next presidential election. And it's going to mean that the Treasury Department is really going to be at the center of financial markets, which is historically what it had been. It's just only in the last couple of decades that it was really the Fed, but that pendulum is swinging hard towards Treasury, and that's really meaningful. However, it also means a lot more volatility. I know we're going to hear from OCC Comptroller Gould, and Jeff, you were talking about the durability of Wyoming's chartering authority. Both of us have chosen to stay in the state system. Part of the risk that those who go with the national chartering from the OCC, which is what most in this industry have done, is that pendulum could swing pretty hard. So we will see more volatility, but I'm excited about Treasury taking all of that control back because we are now going to be a much more tech-forward financial market.
So as much as some people out there don't believe in the US debt clock, they've been pretty accurate because we're going to move away, just like she mentioned, right, from the Federal Reserve System, and the Treasury is going to be taking control. In my opinion, they have already taken control, especially through blockchain and on the credit union side of the space. So what does all of this mean? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because everything is about to start happening.
So my predictions for this year are, right now, all markets are down, right? We see the stock market is down, crypto market's down. So now is a time when there are a lot of people building. There's a lot of stuff happening in the background. You may not see it because it's not as loud, although I would argue it does feel kind of loud, even though the markets are down.
Yeah.
Things are going to change over this year where the market goes in up and down cycles. The next, I guess, bull cycle, you could call it, we will have this technology embedded into the credit union. So this year, my predictions are you're going to see the first MetalPay API and Metallicus integrations go live in credit unions.
Wow. Okay.
We're going to begin to see the credit union and banking world get much more integrated with this tech. I predict by this year you will see the first credit union and bank-based stablecoins due to the new legislation passing.
Right on.
We're going to see some winners and some losers. And the losers are going to be the ones that failed to have interoperability and compliance baked into the chain. So I think by the end of this year, we'll see the first credit union and bank-based stablecoins. The Genius Act and Clarity Act, I believe, will pass. I think the guidance from Kyle, from Chairman Kyle Hotman at the NCUA is fantastic.
Yeah, I do too.
There's some things I have some comments on, but overall it's very good. And I think it's going to go through. And in doing that, we're going to have the next crypto bull run, if you call it, will be the institutional bull run.
Oh, gosh.
So it's going to be very exciting.
But this is why it is so important to know what you hold. Let's go.